Hello, this is me doing a audio commentary 30% slowed down on my shock section. This is me having second thoughts, not having enough time to swivel before the Fakie 3. This section was made, there's some nice Kamloops mountains, some nice textures that you can just film endlessly and it's always interesting. I made this section for stabyourselfintheface.com. I like excuses to make things. That's me repeating the trick through the lens of the camera, not hero style. This is me showing rollerblading because it's pretty much the same thing what I'm doing, and I don't like that the two things are separate. I'm equally as strange as that dude probably to outsiders. Just wrist guards too, props to him. Kamloops again, there's just endless panoramas to film, and I never get tired of seeing nice scenery. This is like something that I like to do where I just show people doing things for a short time in relation to skating. I think it makes the skating more interesting. I'm a big fan of texture. It's just anything that looks interesting texturally. This was cool. This guy purposely did this for my camera. He was a German tourist on a train tour, and you always see them checking out the park. That's something that I totally would have taken a picture of with my phone because I liked the way it was reflecting off the window. So I used it as a cut between these things. That's great when people are comfortable in front of the camera and they're in a good mood because they're on vacation. A lot of times people aren't on vacation, not in a good mood. This is me redoing a trick from Cirque du Soleil. I just wanted to go back. I like redoing tricks that I've done, and there I did just one step up, and it was cool to see how close my skates got to the edge of the step. Executed very well. Those Vibrolux pants, by the way, after 2 washes turned into like poo gray. Again, the mountains of Kamloops are just, you can film them so many different ways. That's a really great shot zoomed all the way into the park. Again, showing people just doing other things than skating. That first part of the Fakie 3 was so bad there, and then my arms swing around. It worked out pretty good, and you can tell I'm impressed with myself. Me showing, this makes the set look a little bit bigger because it doesn't look that big on camera, and it's not that big, but again, showing people. That's Justin, a famous skateboarder. Well, used to be famous in town from the park. That's probably one of the coolest things I've done on that set. You can tell I'm impressed with myself again. I filmed this whole edit just by myself. I remember being at work one time. This here from 70s movies when there's just cuts of the road from the dashboard. You can kind of just think as a viewer, you can place your thoughts. Kamloops is just endless on how you can film it. I filmed this all on my own because I remember putting a note. Oh, this is why I slowed it down 30% because so my ego can talk for longer. That never would have worked out, that frontside test slide. It's really gritty pavement, but I like putting mess ups in. This is actually pretty high to jump over. If you look at the Royale here, because I'm like about 6 feet tall, that was a bad crossover, by the way. And you can see how much I have to squash to get on top of it. I surprise myself sometimes with some weird little skills that I use once in a while. I don't push myself very much for skating, and I think if I did once in a while, or when I do, I impress myself. I love to impress myself. This was me going to the park to film the rest of the edit, and it was raining, so I look at the whatever the foot of that, or whatever it's called, what are those things called, the foot of the duck, how it wrapped around the curb there. I wish my feet could do that when I skate. That's a deer, and people on a moped beforehand. Yeah, sky, mountains. I'm just selfishly, I like seeing that stuff. I don't know why. I just like putting it in. This is the same kind of thing. You can reflect if you're watching a movie and there's just shots of cars and stuff from the dashboard, you can kind of think on your own as viewer. Plus, I really like that sign to the right. It always creeped me out because the cow looked like a alien. This was like first thing in the morning, and I just set up the camera and did a big 540, so you could tell the landing was like a tiny bit sketchy. This right here was the first thing I thought of when I heard the song for the edit. This was the first idea for the edit, was just to show a line in the road and the road swooping by, and then revealing this is where I always speed skates. I skate up and down this hill, and I guess I was listening to the song and had that idea. I like the way that I did that. I didn't like the way I came out of it, but I like the way that I went into that Cesslight, because it was that's always, I love filming graffiti. Me doing a really bad grab to squash topsoil. Should have topsoiled down the edge of the ledge. This is the same thing as like at the start of the edit. I filmed like what you see going up to a trick. Here's me trying to impress myself again, proving to myself that I can do a fakie 720. I like that angle because you can see how many trees are around the skate park. I always like showing wind and graffiti. That's a cool graffiti too. All that graffiti is probably gone. That counts as like showing people in relation to skating. Like there's people on a plane, and I'm just this tiny little spot at a skate park. I don't know why that teddy bear would have been in this tree. That I always love doing that trick at the park. That's one of those things that I practice once in a while. More texture. Cigarette butts are always interesting to film because it's people sitting there spitting and smoking. Wheel down cess slides I like a little bit more than regular cess slides. I like sliding on my wheels. I have no idea what that meant. This took quite a few tries and I can't help but step on it. I don't usually use wax, so that's why I went really slow on the rail. I'm trying to use wax more often now. I love this shot. Man, this is so cool. And a lot of the stuff that I do when I film my own edits, just film myself. Oh, I didn't even finish that point. When I film myself, I do like a 5% zoom on the outsides, so I pretend to be Stanley Kubrick. I love doing that trick. You can tell that I have the cuffs on my rims for how solid they were. I mean the extra cuffs. You can just see none of these girls cared. I just rolled down the stairs on one foot. That's total hockey stance right there. They just don't care. They're too cool. Worst version of my Kong. I like putting hand touches and mess ups in edits. I also like the way that I came off of the edge of that ledge. That's why I used it. This is just a standard thing that I like to do at the park where I don't do it that good, but that's the closest I can get to doing an invert. Really bad free Mark Emery weed stuff. That was kind of interesting. Here's one of the worst grabs I've ever done. What was the point of just like brushing my hands against my feet? So stupid. Like, it just looks stupid to grab your boots like that. That's the kid that I put in all the edits. That was his third time. That took me so many tries to do. If someone held a gun to my head and told me to do that first try, I'd be dead probably. But I'm glad I did that. It was something that I had written down, to stall on your backslide plate. Not a huge fan of that shot. It's not as interesting as the other ones. And again, trying to prove to myself that I can do something that I already done. You can see the square coping there, hand touch. I like that I was not happy about that. There was a special astrological event at this time. I can't remember what it was, but that's why I got that shot. You can tell with that square coping, you can lean in a little bit more. I like that shot a lot. Love the way the light hits. That's cool. You could see there's a crack up to that set. I got to do a trick tip on this. If you see the back foot, as soon as it hits the step, that's when I know I have it. So I almost like stop for a millisecond for the med spin to stair ride. It wasn't as good as one of the previous ones I've done, but I mean, setting up the camera by yourself, this is so bad. But again, just me trying to prove to myself that I can do it. Really bad backslide. The picture of that would be so funny. I like that shot. You get to kind of see the neighborhood in relation to the rail and how green it is. That makes Kamloops look more like a western town with the old telephone poles. I I love the train tracks too. You can almost like smell the train track smell. Birds are always a symbol of freedom. No, I don't know. Birds are just interesting. This is one of the nicer 540s I've ever done at the old Kamloops Park, which I skate too much. I think I even surprised myself. This is one of those things that I just put in things over and over again. I have to prove to myself that I can jump over it every time I go. That trick would have been way better in Seba's because you can see my foot kind of stops. But I think I surprised myself many times. And I love, again, putting in mess ups. If I would have gotten one cleaner, I like seeing like my own reaction and a mess up. And oh, there's a little blip of my what is the Bont skates, and similar to the end. There's like extra parts here that I guess they're going to be slowed down 30%, but I like having excuses, as I said, to make things. So Kevin Yee had hit me up on Facebook to do like an interview or something, and then I just said like I'll make an edit because I was a big fan of the site. This is me in the bonus part doing a toe roll all the way around, and this is actually pretty sweet. I like hop off one foot for a sec, and that's waxed, so I made it work. And see, my heel didn't touch. It just didn't really work in the edit, though. The way the shot looked or something, I don't know. It just didn't work, so put it in. I like when you can see caps at spots, though. That's a famous covered spot, and it's also a famous lit spot in Kamloops. And the security guard came out that night, and we had a long conversation. And he was talking about how once you break down the science of skateboarding and your feet he was this old guy, your feet have to land in the same spot every time. It's not as interesting to watch as rollerblading, he said, because rollerblading has more movement to it, which I kind of agree with the landing part, but in terms of the expression you can do, I think I fall here. With your feet in skateboarding, there's more, yeah, see, it's waxed. And I think he's like, oh, hit on your bum or something like that. I think I was skating fairly good at this point because I really liked those skates and that setup, and I had the extra cuffs on, so they were a little bit stiffer than normal. This is so egotistical of me to be like talking about something that I made of me, filmed it all myself, and now I'm talking about it, but what can you do? Interactions with people, that lady was, I think, either scared, I can't remember what she says, but we need to put that we interact with other people and that we're not separate from people. And I want to include this more as it goes on, but because it's scary to like put a camera in someone's face just like here. But this kid was like, it was cool to ask him, like they were watching from across the street, and I got to ask him what he thought of the trick, or what his favorite one was. And it was actually the one where I ran up the stairs and then grabbed onto the rail, spun myself around. It was like a hand plant royale. Didn't go in the edit, but I think I show it after this. But I was skating so good at this time because I was taking a month off of drinking, and you'd be surprised at how clear you are in terms of like, it was really easy to put this together in terms of like what I wanted to film and how focused I felt. So this was always a reflection for me of what you can do if you stop drinking for a month. Because if you're not drinking on the weekends or staying up late or going out meeting people, you can like get up early and go to bed early and be really focused. This whole thing was, I was at work in Vancouver. This is the story. At work in Vancouver, and I just wrote down, if I had no one to skate with or film with, I would still make solo videos. I wrote down. It was like this weird realization. So I always would just film things at the skate park and send them to Todd for ideas. Oh, it's over. And this was the first time I challenged myself a little bit more to kind of make an edit where I just filmed it. and I think it turned out good. I think my ego's done talking. I hope to do more in the future, especially with my new skates that I'm really excited about. Thank you for watching.